it's Chari here, and today I'm going to be making a Valentine using some not quite so traditional colors of papers. So I'm going to be using the Turn Me On set, the new little mini set for Valentines, and I'm going to be using the Let's Polka in the Dark papers. So I think these colors are going to work great for some Valentines, even though they were meant for fall or Halloween. I have a 4-bar size card base already cut here, and I'm going to be using the polka, the werewolf polka. I'm going to use the smaller side of that 12 by 12 paper. I just like the spacing of the dots on that one. And I'm going to use the largest 4-bar stitched rectangle to cut a piece of that paper to cover the card base and be my background. So I've just tacked down the die and I'm going to run it right through my Cuddle Bug, and you can see that fits perfectly on the front. And I used the dots to line up the die so that it was lined up perfectly as well. Now I'm going to cut a heart to be the background as well, and I'm going to cut that out of the jack-o'-lantern stripe paper. And I picked the paper out of the paper pad for this rather than a 12 by 12 just because I liked the sizing of the stripes better for this size of card. I wanted to use this color because I think it really goes with the light bulbs that I'm going to use. I think it's kind of a glowy, yellowy orange color, and it'll really make them look like they're glowing. So I'm going to stamp out my light bulbs. I'm going to use the Hippo ink. I'm going to be coloring with colored pencils here. You can see my little trial down in the left bottom corner there. I did Copics with that one, and I did not really care for the look I was getting, so I decided to switch it up and try the pencils to get a softer look. So I'm going to make a little boy light bulb and a little girl light bulb. And I'm going to speed up my coloring a bit just so this video isn't too terribly long. But I'm going to be using very soft colors because I want these to be very soft colors and kind of glowing. So I'm going to start off with a very pale blue. And I'm going to color my little boy light bulb here with blue on the outside. He's going to be the one that's turned on, so he's gonna have some yellow in the middle of him like he's glowing. So now I'm gonna go in with a light yellow, and I'm just going inside that blue there. And then now I have an orange color that I'm just gonna do the very center with. And you'll see I'll go back and forth with the pencils. You can blend the pencils with each other, but I'm also going to get out the Gamsol and do some blending as well. It didn't look too bad with just the pencils, but I just like the really soft look that the Gamsol gives. So I'm using some paper stumps here, and I have one for every color, but they do come in the little blending kit that you get when you can get some Gamsol, but you just need Gamsol, paper stumps, and the sanding block. But I use one for every color so I don't have to keep sanding off the ends of my stumps. I just keep using the blue to blend my blues and the yellow to blend my yellows. And what this does is it breaks down the wax of the pencil, and you can move the pigment around a little better, and those colors really blend and get this nice soft look that's really lovely. So now I'm going to color the little girl light bulb here, and I don't want her to look quite as glowy. So I'm going to start with blue with her, and I'm actually going in with a slightly darker blue right around the edges to help and define that a little bit. And I'm going to give her sort of a pink glow. She is a little girl light bulb after all. So I'm going in with pink. It's really hard to see here, but you'll see I just keep adding some pink to the center there over top of that blue. And then I'm just going to take the same blending stump and blend them together. And if you've already put some Gamsol on the paper and you go to apply more pencil, the color will go down a little bit darker, which is sometimes pretty helpful. So you can see I'm adding some more pink in here. On the video she still looks very blue, but on the actual card in real life she is a little more pinky. A little dark blue to define the edges. You just have to keep working at it until you get the look that you want. It's always easier to go back and add more color. And then I'm just gonna give her some pink cheeks when I'm done here. I like it's kind of like a glow coming up from the bottom with the pink, so I did more pink down there at the bottom. And then I'm just going to take a gray that works really well with the colors I've got here and color in the bottoms of them as well. So I really like the soft look that the pencil gives. Now I'm going to use the coordinating dies that you can get and use those to cut out my little light bulbs. So I'll just tack that down and run it through my cuddle bag. Now I'm going to start assembling my cards, so I'm putting some adhesive on all 4 sides of that rectangle that I cut earlier and through the center, and then I'm going to carefully line it up with my card base. And this one actually fit perfectly. Sometimes I do have to cut a little bit of that base off the side. Now I'm going to adhere down the heart, and since I used the dots to line up my rectangle, I'm using the dots to line up my heart as well. Now I want to go ahead and stamp out my sentiment, and I'm just using a scrap of pink cardstock that I have. This is why I keep scraps like this. It's perfect for something like this. And I'm just going to stamp it in the black licorice ink right near the edge. And I'm going to be making sort of a banner piece. I thought this would work best since the background is black. So it's really hard to see a sentiment. Even if it was white heat embossed with those white dots, it would still be hard to see. So this really makes that sentiment stand out better. Now I'm just going to trim down my little strip that I cut here. And I'm sort of using my grid mat as a go-by, trying to get the pieces that hang off the sides to be pretty even. You could also cut this and stamp your first and then stamp your sentiment, but now I'm going to cut little banner ends, and the way I do this is I just cut a slit up the center to the depth that I want, and then I connect the corner to the middle. And this is going to be super easy when those new sentiment banner dies from Lawn Fawn comes out in February. I already have like a little jar full of a bunch of them cut, so they're just easy to grab and stamp a sentiment on. Now I'm going to cut some little hearts, and usually I have some hearts sitting on my desk. I'm not going to use all these hearts, I'll keep the extras, but I didn't have any in this particular color. I wanted a darker color to kind of go with these rich colors that I have in the background. And here I'm using some thin foam adhesives to adhere down the light bulbs. You could use the thick ones as well, but I like the thin ones. They add dimension without adding too much bulk, so you can send it through the mail pretty easy. Next, since I've got my hearts kind of where I want them, I'm going to leave them there, and I'm going to pick them up with my tweezers, which works great, especially for these teeny tiny hearts. And add a little liquid glue to them, and just adhere them down in all those places where I have them. Now that everything is adhered down, I can just add the finishing touches. So I'm going to add a little bit of clear Wink of Stella glitter to these hearts to give them some shine. And then I decided I wanted a little more shine. So what I'm actually adding here is the Sukaneko Irresistible Embellisher. This is the clear that has sparkle in it. So you would get the same effect if you just did glossy accents over the Wink of Stella, or you could just do this embellisher that I'm using here. I happen to do both, but you'd get the same effect either method. And then finally I decided I wanted a little bit of that sparkle to be carried over onto those light bulbs, so I'm just taking some of that glitter and pulling it from the outside edge in. I didn't really cover the whole thing, I just kind of wanted to give a little shine to the tops. And here you have a look at the finished card. You can see that shine on those hearts. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.